Well, good afternoon, folks. Welcome back to the farm. It is absolutely gorgeous out here today. It's about 9 degrees. Lots of the snow is melting. As you can see, things are starting to look like it might actually be spring. And because it's spring, we're putting our mind towards gardening. So over here, the Mouse Miracle Garden, you'll see looks a little bit different than it did the other day. So what we did is actually we used a propane torch and torched down some of the old growth from last year. You see that along the edge? So at the end of the year, things kind of just took off and did their own thing. Now it's all dry and brittle and tinder dry, in fact. So torched all that off and then put a plastic cover over 2/3 of it. I only had enough to go 2/3. Being that this is an experimental garden, I thought, well, that's pretty good because we'll be able to see what this part of the garden does and we'll be able to see what that part of the garden does. So the theory here is that with the sun beating down on that black plastic, it's going to warm the ground up. Any of the weed seeds are going to actually pop up. And then because of the lack of sunlight, they're just going to die off. And it should hopefully kill everything there before we start. Now, in a couple of weeks, we'll peel this tarp off, weather pending. If it decides to snow and winter comes crawling back, well, maybe we'll just leave it there. But the plan is to peel this back, put down a nice thick layer of cardboard, layer in some compost, and then in between the rows some mulch. So we're going to use some wool and a little bit of wood chips for our mulch layer. And yes, this will be how this experimental garden is going to look this year. I'm very excited about that. You help Daddy? You help Daddy.
Are you giving Daddy heck? Sweetheart, you're using it the wrong way. Yeah.
What'd you find, mister?
Bring it outside. Good girl. Woo. Okay. Does that dang chicken keep getting in? You go put it outside.
The other thing I'm excited about, so last night while we had a little bit of nice weather, we actually put up some cattle panel hoops in between our raised beds. So we have one more cattle panel, so later today we're going to put it between these two beds here. You'll see these ones aren't quite filled up with dirt yet, but they will be later on. So anyways, yeah, we'll be able to grow beans and peas and all kinds of stuff here right beside the house in our kitchen garden. And so over here in the greenhouse, we're starting to get things a little bit rigged up. We've got some hanging baskets, not sure yet what we're going to plant in there. We still haven't cleaned the windows. I've been saying for months now I'm going to clean those windows. We've got some pots ready for some herbs, and we've got some alfresco garden beds. I think these came from Costco. But let's have a look to see what the actual temperature is, because we know it's like 8 or 9 degrees outside. The temperature in the greenhouse today, have a look at that, 26 degrees Celsius. So as soon as we can get that nighttime temperature to stay kind of warmer in here above the frost line, then I think we're good to move a lot of our plants out here because they'll get all the light. We notice some of the stuff in the basement right now because it's warm in the house, but because there's not a ton of light, underneath in the basement, we're getting some leggy seedlings. They're starting to kind of grow and chase the light in the window. So we've either got to get them out in the greenhouse and get them, the light they need, or we got to get them cooled off so they don't just stretch out and then wither off and die. walking Rosie?
Let's go.
Good job.
Good boy. Good boy. Good boy. Oh, you want to shoot that again? Oh. See, good boy, Nico.
Hi, Daddy. Hello. Sheepy too.
Look at that one. They're saying hi to you. You pet it?
A fork. A fork.
Yeah.
A fork.
Fork?
A fork.
Can you pet the chickie?
Oh, cat. What?
Throw it for Nico.
Go.
Good boy. He got it.
So I got one last check to do on the ladies over here before it's time for a cup of tea. We've been getting up at 3 o'clock in the morning the last couple 3 days, and there's been no activity. But we've noticed today a few of them, they're hanging their heads down, they're acting a little bit differently. Maybe it's a sign, I don't know. Carmen has volunteered to go on lamb checking duty at 3 o'clock this morning, so I wish her the best of luck with that one, but that means I gotta get up early and check at 6 o'clock. Good evening, ladies. There's June's over there stuck in the feeder like an idiot. June, get out of there. So another exciting news, we picked up today these wheelbarrows slash trailer. So under here, this actually folds out and has a trailer hitch on it, so we can pull this thing behind the side-by-side, or we can push it like a wheelbarrow. It's also got a lever so it can tilt the bucket and completely empty it. So we got a pair of those. So Carmen's gonna have one at her greenhouse. I got one over at my chicken house. We are set. In other exciting gardening news, so you remember earlier today, I showed you that we had this trellis, like a Gothic arch over a trellis, and I said we're gonna rig up a second one. Bom, bom, bom. Here it is. So really simple. It's a 16-foot hog panel or cattle panel. You can get them from UFA. And then just 2x4 screwed to the side of the raised bed. And then we just zip tied it on. We'll snip these up later just to clean everything up, but we're really excited. Get some climbing vegetables in here. Peas, some beans, things like that. Maybe we'll get grapes, I don't know, we'll see. Anyhow, I think that's all my evening chores wrapped up. So I'm gonna go ahead and put Ranger to bed here and then go fix up a cup of tea. So I'll let you go for now. I hope you have a fantastic evening. We'll see you tomorrow.